Hello and welcome to take 2 of episode 88 of the Stress Knits podcast. My name is Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarn on Instagram and Stress Knits on Ravelry. Today is, I don't know, June 26th, maybe? I don't know. It's a Wednesday, it's sunny, it's humid, and yeah, it's still morning. My pug puppy Esther is joining us apparently, which is great. It's funny, I started recording this like 2 minutes ago and I started talking and she immediately wanted to come inside. That's just Esther for you. So, if you have already watched this episode when it went up the first time, feel free to skip it. It's the same content. I'm going to show some stash enhancement, some yarn that I didn't bring over when I recorded yesterday, but I just wanted to thank all of you who emailed me and messaged me on Instagram that you could kind of see my cross streets in the background. So not going to do that anymore. And granted, if nobody would have told me, it really wouldn't have been too bad because one, that like my street names are everywhere. Also, the street you could see isn't really my address, so it's like this whole thing that makes where I live confusing, which is fine. But I just wanted to thank all of you who did that so that I could get that off of YouTube and do this again. And it's fine because yesterday felt weird. My mother-in-law texted me that my brother-in-law was going to be in the garage, and so like that distracted me and I was worried he could hear me, which doesn't really matter. I mean, he's 10, it's fine. He doesn't care. He thinks this is cool. So yeah, so hopefully I'm a little more on. I have my handy dandy coffee, which yeah, this is Stoke cold brew. It's delicious. I got addicted to it from my friend Jacqueline of Brooklyn Knit Folk. That's all, not all she drinks, but it's one of the brands that she drinks. It's so good. Put that over here. Okay, so I have a few finished objects to show you. One of them I think I showed last time, but I just wanted to show it to you blocked in with the ends woven in, plus the pattern just came out and I was a test knitter, so let's chat about it, right? So this is the mini Magpie. This is a pattern by Melissa of Skeinanigans, and it's just the cutest little top. I knit the 6 to 12 month size, which is perfect for my daughter Eliza, who just turned 1 like 10 days ago. And I have a lot of feelings about it, and this time of year is really emotional for me anyway, so it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy that she's like a whole person now. Yeah, so I knit the 6 to 12 month size and it's perfect. She is still wearing 3 to 6 month clothing. She can squeeze into some of her bodysuits that are 0 to 3 month sizes. We still put her in those and they fit really well. It's crazy how tiny she is for how old she is, but that's what happens when you're born early. So yes, this is perfect. The only thing I changed is I omitted the buttonholes that are supposed to be in the back, only because Eliza likes to chew on buttons, zippers, strings, like if you're wearing a hoodie, and just like all of that kind of stuff. So I was worried that she would be able to grab it and like put it in her mouth and pull. So she's a very strong little nugget, so I was worried about that. So it's the only reason I left it off. I think it's a great addition to this pattern. The head is slightly tight on her, but she also has a small head, so it fits her really well. Like it'll be perfect for her this summer. If I make her another one, I will just add maybe 3 or 4 stitches, maybe 5 stitches to the I-cord, and maybe go up in needle size. But other than that, this pattern is wonderful. And that's just stuff because I decided to change the pattern. you know, it's just one of those things where I just got worried about buttons. So yeah, it's super cute. This took like 30 grams of yarn. It's the second size in the pattern. I think it goes up to a 10. But it's like newborn to 10. I was really lucky to test knit it for Melissa, so that was a lot of fun. I used Stress Knits yarn in the favorite base in the Dahlia colorway, which is my new favorite colorway. I want a sweater out of this. I actually think I'm going to over dye my Magpie tendency in Dahlia because, okay, so I made my Magpie tendency when it first came out, and I knit it in my bell jar colorway, and if you know my yarn, it's a very pastel, barely there kind of color, and my dog jumped up onto a table because she was not used to having the windows open, and she saw somebody in our front yard, and she jumped on the table to bark at them, and she spilled my coffee all over my finished Magpie tendency. So there's this giant, like almost stain, like you can kind of see it, you kind of can't, but it's been bothering me, and I really want to have a Magpie tendency at SSK, which is a knitting retreat in Nashville, Tennessee that I will be vending at in about a month, which is crazy. But Melissa is going to be helping me out at my table, so I really want to have a Magpie tendency, and so I think I'm just going to over dye it, and, and Eliza and I will have matching magpies, which will be a lot of fun. So there is finished object number 1. Again, I think this was done last time, but it wasn't blocked and ends woven in and perfect. So I love this pattern. It's so sweet. So there is that. The other thing I knit for Eliza for her birthday was a sweater in her special colorway, which is called Accidental Gemini. Here it is, and it's a perfect representation of what that color looks like. It's a hard color to photograph, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's this like clay, almost terracotta colorway with speckles of burnt orange, and I love this. I just made up a classic Raglan sweater. There's nothing special about it. It's just classic Raglan with a 2x2 rib collar and sleeves, and yeah, I just kept looking at it. My goal was to make it about a 12-month size so that she could wear it in the fall. So I think that's pretty accurate. It's a little bit, it's bigger than the sweaters that she wears now, so I think it's gonna be perfect for the fall. So this again is our hand-dyed yarn. It's my hand-dyed yarn. It is the Accidental Gemini colorway, which was Eliza's special colorway for this year. My plan is to do a special colorway for her every year for a few years, maybe for like the first 5 years, to commemorate this time in our life when she was born, because it was a very traumatic, crazy, drama-filled saga. It was a lot to get her home. My water broke 8 weeks early at 32 weeks. She was born via emergency C-section after 28 hours of labor. She was whisked off to the NICU right away. I only got to say hi. I didn't get to hold her until 2.5 hours later after recovery and after she was all set up. And then she was in the NICU with a really bad infection for 2 weeks, 1 day. And it was an infection where if this antibiotic didn't work, we weren't taking her home. So we had to be very prepared to leave without our baby, but luckily it worked. And I had the same infection, worked for me as well because it was the same circumstance. It's the only antibiotic that treats the infection, and if not, then everything kind of starts shutting down. So both of us are incredibly lucky, and we got a lot of information from the March of Dimes. They're an amazing organization. I'm pretty sure they're nonprofit, and they're a nonprofit. Yeah, I never know whether to call something a nonprofit or a charity, but I'm pretty sure they're a nonprofit. They give moms and dads and babies just the best way to start out, especially in circumstances that are not the norm. So we got a lot of information from them. We didn't work directly with them because it all happened so fast and we weren't there for too long. It was only 2 weeks and 1 day, which is it's a pretty short stay for what happened, considering she was also only like 3 pounds 1 ounce when she was born and went down to 214. So like we had a really short stay. It was a very scary stay, but 2 weeks and 1 day is very short in the grand scheme of things. So we didn't work with them directly, but we got a lot of information from them through our NICU. And our NICU works really closely with them. So for every skein sold of Accidental Gemini, I'm donating $3 of the profits to the March of Dimes because they do amazing work in helping moms specifically and their babies. And I love them very much, and I'm very grateful for everything they do. So this is Accidental Gemini. It's called Accidental Gemini because she was supposed to be a Leo, and she skipped that and skipped being a Cancer, and she was a Gemini. So that's why it's called that. It's just funny. I don't know. But yeah, I could gush about this sweater, and I was like crying when I was finishing it up and when I over-dyed it to make it the Accidental Gemini color. And like, this was a very emotional therapeutic knit, and just putting all my good thoughts about her into this. So I hope she loves it and that she wears it this fall. That was a lot of information about this little sweater, but I think this might be my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing I've ever knit for her, and it's so special. Yeah. Okay, the last thing that I finished is my Nordiska sweater. So you can find a lot of information about the sweater in my new segment called The Whip Down. It is a Patreon funded, I don't want to say funded, but Patreon sponsored. No, sponsored is also the wrong word. But I do it for Patreon, and then 2 weeks later, when the new episode of The Whip Down comes out on Patreon, the old episode that was on Patreon goes up on my YouTube channel. There is a playlist called The Whip Down, and I'm going through a whip that I'm obsessed with at that moment. And so the first one was the Nordiska, which is on YouTube now. The next one should drop on Friday, which is really exciting. So I have to film my new episode for Patreon. So I just want to thank you all who are Patreon subscribers. I'm using all of the wrong words. You know what? Let's coffee break this, right? It's always a good day for a coffee break. Okay. So, to all of you who support me on Patreon, thank you so much, because I couldn't do this without you. It allows me to put more into this channel and not feel guilty about spending my time doing so. It helps us pay bills. It helps us keep our heads above water. Like, I cannot explain to you how much we appreciate every single donation, from the $1 to the $20 a month. It means everything to us. Like, I cannot get that through enough. And we're almost to our first goal. We're a little over halfway to our first goal. So I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. It's so exciting that you guys are enjoying the content that I'm making, because I enjoy making it for you. So anyway, if you want to hear me go into details about construction and why I chose yarn and all of that stuff, that is on the Whip Down, because I don't want to spend, 15-20 minutes on one piece during the podcast. So anyway, I finished my Nordiska. I still need to weave in ends. It finally dried. I knit the size extra large, which is a little tight. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a little tighter than I expected it to be, because it should have been pretty positive. There was supposed to be a lot of positive ease in it, knitting the extra large, but it maybe only has 2 inches of positive ease, and I wanted something closer to 6. So I don't know if my gauge changed between swatching and knitting or what. I did go up a needle size for the color work, and that worked out well. It didn't pull in too much or anything like that. I made some modifications to the sweater. So this is the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter, in case you are unaware. I knit this in Stress Knits yarn on my favorite base, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And the main color is Prudence, and the contrast color is Dahlia. I'm telling you, I'm really loving Dahlia lately. So the modifications I made were, I only used one color in the color work. It calls for 2 contrast colors and the main color. And via my friend Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, she only used one color and I loved hers, and so I copied and only did one color as well. And I'm so glad I did, because I think it's going to be much more wearable. And I just couldn't figure out a color that I wanted that would go with this, that wouldn't make it look too, I don't know, I don't want to say immature, it just, the color combinations I was coming up with, it just made it less sophisticated. And I just really want this sweater to be wearable for me. And I'm not somebody who wears a lot of color. This is about as colorful as it gets, this shirt. So, you know. So that is modification number 1, and modification number 2 and 3 have to do with the sleeves. So I did not do color work on the sleeves, and I decreased rapidly on the sleeves. So what I did was I decreased every 4th stitch the first round after pickup, and then I decreased every 8th round until I felt comfortable, and then I knit it to the length that I wanted, and then I just did a 2x2 rib. And that's it. So it's a tighter sleeve, which is what I wanted. I know they look super tiny, and my arms are not super tiny, but it fits really, really well. Exactly what I wanted. And blocking, I haven't tried it on post blocking yet, so hopefully it bloomed out a little bit. But I love it. I love this V-neck. I definitely think I might make just a single color one at some point. I just love this Raglan cable detail. Here's the back. It has that, because I had it folded while it was wet. So I actually might reblock this today. Because there are some things that I would like to change about how I blocked it. And you can always reblock things. But yes, that is my Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. I'm working on 2 things right now. I should be working on one specific thing that I just kind of put aside because I got excited about some stuff. I have 1 sleeve left on my second weekender. I caked up the yarn 2 days ago, so that's promising. Once I separate the sleeves on the new sweater that I cast on, I'm going to finish that, and then, yeah. But I did do a little bit of work on my No Frills sweater. So this is No Frills by PetiteKnit. I am knitting the size large, but because of my gauge, it's coming out between the extra large and the large. And I will say again that this does not have very inclusive sizing, and that sucks because I love this sweater, but it's a classic Raglan, you know. There's really, honestly, there's nothing crazy about this pattern. You can definitely use the holding it double technique with just about anything. So hopefully, I don't know. But the fact that I should technically be knitting the extra large for the amount of ease called in the pattern, but I also thought that was an aggressive amount of ease. But also, that amount of ease, I shouldn't, I don't know, like I do have a large bust, but it's not ridiculous. Like, I'm a 44, I just measured yesterday, and that's not crazy. So, the fact that I'm at the last size for this is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, I do love how the sweater's coming out. I'm using Stress Knits yarn in 2 colors, which is Sweet Disposition, not in 2 colors, in 2 bases. So this is my singles base, which is just 100% superwash merino single ply yarn, and my cloud base, which is Surrey alpaca and mulberry silk, and this just feels like velvet. I'm being honest with you, it's just complete velvet. And then I love my single base. So these together are creating a very velvety sweater. And I do think I would make another one in just using the single and the mohair. But that's where it's at. I don't know, I've probably knit about, probably, what is that, like 4 inches past the armhole. So this is slow going, but I also haven't been putting much into it lately. So that's how it's coming out. I'm really loving how it's coming out. Yeah, I love the sweater. I love this colorway, and I'm gonna wear the crap out of this fall. So there is that. Next is kind of what I'm obsessed with. So living in my homespun house basket, this is a basket that Molly, or one of the baskets Molly started carrying. Molly of a Homespun House, if you are unaware, she has a wonderful podcast, a wonderful line of yarn, and some extras in her marketplace. And she started carrying these baskets from Ghana. And I've wanted one of these baskets for a really long time because I love the story behind them. It's giving women a job to support themselves by making something beautiful. And it's free trade and all of the good stuff that you really want to make sure that these women are being treated fairly and correctly and being paid for their labor. So I was going to get one of these baskets at Rhinebeck when I went in 2017, but I didn't see one that I really wanted, and Doug didn't really see one that he really wanted, and then Molly started selling them. And I told Doug that I was going to buy one because I really wanted one. So I put my order in. This is the second size, I think. Yeah, it's not the mini, it's the next size up. And I put in my note to Molly that I just wanted something pretty neutral. And she knows me very well. We've been friends for a while now. And so, yeah, it's perfect. I love the teal and the navy. And then this wicker color is just beautiful. Bottom, and my favorite part of it is this rusty red handle, and I just love it so much. It's amazing. So I highly recommend getting one of these baskets, and of course getting one for Molly if you can. So it's great. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so in my new basket that I love dearly, I have my penultimate sweater or project for my year of Andrea. And again, this is one of those things that I am feeling very emotional about this time of year because it's Eliza's birth and all of the craziness that happened with it. And then next month is the month that I had my miscarriage in, so it's a lot of emotions and feelings and just a lot of reflection that happens. And I'm saying happens, but like this happened last year, and then the miscarriage happened 2 years ago, which is crazy that it was that long ago. But I'm gonna take a sip of coffee, regroup. So the year of Andrea is something I started last year in July to knit through a bunch of Andrea Mowry's patterns, because when I was in the hospital I was noticing that I had a lot of Andrea Mowry patterns, and she did her Harlow hat and the what's it called, the challenge that to knit it in the long weekend, and I wasn't able to do that. And so it was just one of those things where I was like, you know what, I really want to do this thing, and it's going to be just a knit along with myself, and it's going to be great. I'm going to have a bunch of Andrea Mowry patterns knit when I'm done, and this is pattern number 12 that I've knit, or project number 12, because I knit the weekend or twice because I love it so much. But yeah, it's starting to feel, it's just crazy that it's been a year since I came up with this, and it's coming to a close next month. So this is the 12th project, and I think I'm going to do a baker's dozen and do a 13th project next month, and then finish everything up and then talk about it. But there's just a lot of emotion going into this project, and reflection and gratitude, and this project means a lot to me. And it's weird because I don't know, it's weird and wonderful, and this time of year, man, it's crazy. So I'm knitting the So Faded. So this is where I'm at so far. I'm on the 3rd section of the yoke, which is the final section. So I talked to people about this weird v-neck thing happening, and they said it works out. So I'm trusting Andrea, trusting the people who have knit it before. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I love the garter detail on the sleeve. Yeah, so I just started fading in my second color. I'm only doing 4 colors instead of the 5 that it calls for, but it's gonna work out. So the first color I'm using is Palm Lines, and this is a misfit version of Palm Lines. There was a mishap in the dye pot, and there was some dye on there that I didn't get off. And so instead of putting this in the shop or taking it to SSK, do you see that flash? I'm just using it because I don't mind the flashes. I think it's fun. So I was knitting from the inside of the ball because that's where it was the true Palm Lines color without any of the speckles. But there was a huge tangle in here, and I can feel it because my ball winder is garbage, you guys. I just have a Knit Picks ball winder that I bought, I think I was still in college when I bought this one, so that was 3 years ago now. It's just not great. Anyway, so yes, Palm Lines is color number 1, and that's very true to color. It's just this really pretty, barely there pink. And then I'm fading in Grubby right now. This is amazing color accuracy, so I'm just going to go with it. So I'm fading in Grubby, and then I'm going into Rattle, and I'm finishing it up with Dahlia. And now part of me is wanting to put a color in between here, and do the full 5. So I'm gonna have fun in the dye pots today and see if I can do something in between here. And honestly, I thought about this color, but I don't know. I actually think I might. So Grubby and Palm Lines are sisters. I don't know if you knew that, but they are. They are the same colors mixed together, but different concentrations of those colors. So I'm thinking I might even just do one darker than Grubby, and then yeah, but I also just love this, so I'm going to try it, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I love it. I love this sweater so much, and again, it's just one of those projects that just means a lot to me because of the time in my life that I'm knitting it. So super excited to have that, and that is on my favorite base as well. I love my favorite base for sweaters. It's great. The basket kills me. It's wonderful. Okay, and that is all that I'm knitting on right now. So I do have some up and coming. So I want to talk about a cal that I am sponsoring, and it is called the LYS Unity Cal, and it's hosted by Danny of Gemma Darlings, who I've been friends with for a while now, and I just really wanted to support her in this way. And she's co-hosting it with Chelsea Yarns, and it is a cal that promotes unity within the community, specifically between LYSs and indie dyers, which is really fun because I am all about supporting other indie dyers when I can. It's not always possible, and I have that weird thing with Etsy, so I can't buy off Etsy right now, and yeah, so it's just, I just love the spirit of it, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to join in as a sponsor this year, and I'm also going to participate because if you haven't heard, I am going to Rhinebeck. So I'm not going with my mom, unfortunately, which makes me really, it kind of bums me out, but I think Doug and I are going to go, and we may or may not bring Eliza, it just kind of depends on where we stay and all that kind of stuff. So Doug and I are kind of hitting the details out together right now, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I told him this is the last time he has to come with me because he's like, I don't really want to, and I was like, okay, but if I go, I have to, I don't know what that was. I have to rent a car, I have to find somewhere to stay, and everything that's left right now is kind of in like the backwoods. I'm just like, I don't want to do that by myself. So I think he's gonna come with me. I'm really excited about it. So I am going to be knitting a Rhinebeck sweater, and I'm so excited because I'm going to have quite a few options to choose from. And so does Esther, it's just the mailman. It's just the mailman, which means a package of Spin Cycle is here for me. Esther, it's okay. Esther, Esther, hey, hey, no, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Come here. Esther, hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's just the mailman. He's nice. Yeah, you look at him. Okay. Sorry about that. But I'll have a few different options of things that I can wear based on the temperature. So that is really exciting. So this one is something that's in my Make 9 for the year and something I've wanted to knit since this book came out. So this is the Knitting Outside the Box by Bristol Ivy. One, it's a beautiful book, but it is kind of on the pricey side. So I don't know why it's in euros. Oh, I think it's because it's a pom-pom. It is a pom-pom press book. So it's in euros, but it's $29.50, and I think I saw it ranging from like $34 to $40 US, and I was like, that's a lot of money for a book. But Knit Picks was having a 40% off sale, and I knew they carried some pom-pom books, so I headed over there. I got some stitch dictionaries and all that good stuff that I've wanted for a while, and I got this book. So hi, Bubba. Good girl. I know. But yes, so I got this book specifically for one pattern, which is why it was kind of excessive to buy it, but this pattern, the Woodman cardigan, can you handle it? One, the yarn is gorgeous, but can you handle how gorgeous the sweater is and how beautifully it's styled? And I can't handle it. So this is what I'm knitting. Hey, it's just the mailman. Hey, and the construction is really interesting. So it's a way that I've never knit a sweater before. This is just information. It's not anything about it. It's about the pattern. It isn't the pattern. So like, you start with your pockets, which is really cool. I've never done that before. And then there's also welts, and I don't know, I'm so excited to do this. And it's knit in sport weight, which I love sport weight. I don't know if you knew that about me, but I love sport weight, and I love my sport weight base, which is kind of like a toot toot to my own self, but I love it. So I'm so excited to finally knit a sweater out of it, because I thought about the Newsome cardigan, also by Bristol Ivy, which is designed in sport, but I think the Woodman is going to be perfect. And it's like the perfect sweater to throw on over a dress or a skirt, and that's very much my style, which I know you can't tell because I've been living in leggings and a t-shirt for like the past year and a half. but my style is very much dresses and skirts and shirts tucked in and all that jazz. So yes, so I'm very excited about that. I'm thinking about doing it in this color, my Accidental Gemini color, so I'm thinking about doing that. I want to see how it comes out on sport. I think it'll be good. So either be this or Grubby. I'm really, really excited about it. So that's up and coming. I am casting on my boxy as soon as the Weekender is done, so you might see that next week because I'm hoping to have the Weekender done by next week. The sleeve does not take very long for me. I have to shorten the sleeves a little bit, so it's less sleeves because I have really short arms. So it literally takes me a day to knit a sleeve. So I'll take a day, like I'll start it one night and then I'll finish it the next day. It'll be great. It'll be so good. So that should be done next time. What else do I have to talk about? Let's talk about my spin cycle yarn. So I do have some skeins that just came, so I'll show you those eventually. But this looks excessive, and I know that, but this is a culmination of quite a few months of just buying 1 or 2 skeins at a time. So it's a little excessive, and I know that, but I have quite a few plans that include spin cycle, and I just want to have a mini stash so that I can just pull things and use them. So, and I've also been asking for spin cycle for gifts. So like for Mother's Day, Doug bought me like 2 skeins and like that kind of stuff. So I don't feel super bad about it. So there are plenty of things that I want to make. I want to steek a Guthrie sweater. Yeah, and so I think for my Guthrie, I want to do like a light creamy kind of gray with Mississippi Marsala, which is one of my absolute favorite spin cycle colorways. I love it. Because I think I love the Guthrie, but it's not really my style. But I think I would wear it if it was a cardigan. So I'm thinking about steeking it and doing a big shawl collar. Excuse me. But yes, so I have 2 skeins so far of Mississippi Marsala. I'll need like 2 more. But again, this isn't anytime soon. This is just like for a rainy day. So there's that. I have 1 skein of Burning Sensation, which is a colorway I've loved, but they don't always have the dye lots of it that I like. So when I saw on their website that they had this dye lot that's mostly gray and peach instead of the bright orange, I jumped on it and I messaged them and was like, can you please make sure that it's the mostly gray skeins, like the most muted? And so they did that for me. And I'm really excited about it. It's gorgeous. So there's Burning Sensation. I have 1 skein of Verbivolant, which is just fun. This is a little brighter than I wish it was. The 1 skein of Verbivolant that I've had before. Oh, this is all dyed in the wool, by the way. The 1 skein of Verbivolant I got this time last year after I had Eliza. It was much more this part instead of the bright colors, but I think it's going to be great. And then, so these have possible dual capabilities. So I am going to knit a shifty sweater eventually. It's either going to be this fall or next fall. I'm not sure yet. It's going to be when I feel comfortable knitting one. So I have 2 skeins of Dead Reckoning and I have 2 skeins of Grumpy Birds, which are 2 of my favorite spin cycle colorways. So Grumpy Birds, it's grays and golds and mints. So it's gorgeous. And then Dead Reckoning is mints and teals and purples and greens. So super excited about that. But Andrea Mowry has been teasing her Rhinebeck sweaters and I really want to test knit again for her. So I'm also kind of collecting some spin cycle so that I have it on hand and I can just buy, like if I need another skein, I can just buy it instead of buying a bunch of skeins at one time, because that's just really not in my budget. So I can buy 1 skein or 2 skeins at a time and it works out for me. So that's my spin cycle haul, which is just so happy. I love spin cycle. I love it so much. Okay, so there is that. Other news. So yes, Accidental Gemini. Let's talk about my shop. So if you're not interested in Stress Knit shop news, thank you so much for joining me. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new, thank you for checking me out. I hope you like this. And if you do, like and subscribe. It helps people like us find each other. So other knitters in the community that enjoy this kind of content can find me, which would be really great and build our community. So just a huge thank you to supporting me, and for those of you who will watch this the second time and those of you who pointed out that my street signs were visible, you're all wonderful. And I appreciate you all so much and just allowing me to do this because I love it. It's a lot of fun. So let's talk about the shop real quick. So Accidental Gemini is in the shop until the 30th, which is Sunday. So June 30th will be the last day you can order Accidental Gemini for the entire year. So this will be at SSK if you're coming to SSK. There's going to be about 20 skeins or so of it on multiple bases. Not in each base, but on multiple bases. And anything that doesn't sell at SSK will be going into the shop, but I can't guarantee what that's going to be. I can't read the minds of what people are going to buy. People might not buy anything, which is kind of stressing me out, but it'll be fine, right? Whew. I'm really stressed out. Okay, so yes, so Accidental Gemini is available on the following bases. Halo, which is my mohair silk. Cloud, which is my alpaca silk. Those are lace weight-ish bases. The alpaca silk is a little heavier than the mohair silk. But those are your fuzzy bases that create the halos that we all love so much right now. There's my favorite base, which is my 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. My singles base, which is what this is, just a single ply fingering yarn. My sport base, which is 100% merino, superwash merino, and it's amazing. And I wish people liked sport more because I want it in the shop all the time, but you can always custom order it from me. DK, and that's it for Accidental Gemini because I don't think it would translate well on worsted, and I'm not really doing bulky right now. So that's it. This is it for a while. It might make a reappearance in the fall because I think it's a gorgeous fall colorway. But this is just a super special Eliza birthday colorway, so if you want it, I would jump on it now because there's no telling when it's going to be available again. And again, $3 of your purchase is going to the March of Dimes, who's an amazing organization, and you can look them up yourself if you are interested. So yes, Accidental Gemini in the shop. Speaking of the Unity Cal, I know I don't have a lot in my shop right now, so if you are interested in using Stress Knits yarn for your Rhinebeck sweater, for your cardigan, for the Unity Cal, message me. My email or contact me through the website. My email is stressknitsyarn@gmail.com. But my website email works now, so go for that as well. Yes, so just message me for a custom order request, and we will work something out. And so literally any base is pretty doable. I am introducing a single DK base after SSK, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, so just let me know what you're looking for and we can work something out, and let me know what colors you want. Yeah, so that's about it. So if you're interested in that, if you don't want to wait for any of the updates or the pre-order updates that are going to happen in the fall, at the end of summer, early fall, so that you can get your Rhinebeck sweater on the needles now, I would highly recommend that. So with that, this was way more long-winded than yesterday's, but I am so glad you joined me. Yeah, you guys are all wonderful. I hate when I say you guys. It's just such a habit, but I hate that saying. So you all are wonderful. I hope you got some knitting done. You drank some coffee or tea or water or wine or I don't know, whatever you fancy. And I hope to see you next week or over on the Patreon page for extra special videos. So I will talk to you next time. Bye.